One. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 51 of Syncing with ServiceNow. I'm your host for today, Andy Whiteside. With me is Kristen McDonald. Kristen is an amazing resource, very talented in the ServiceNow world, probably been doing it for 100 years and has an unbelievable amount of expertise. And we also have Fred with us. Oh, sorry, Fred.
Hey
No,
everyone. I brought Kristen to the party, so there you go. That's what I'm good for.
that's the voice of Fred Reynolds. He's our director of our modern applications practice, which is where ServiceNow lives. And Fred has an extensive background over at a major Fortune 500, Fortune 1000. What was it? What was
Gosh,
work for?
at
Fortune
least
something.
500, maybe
Fortune
100, maybe. Yeah.
where he ran the managed services practice and highly leveraged ServiceNow and has real world experience. Let me do the commercial real quick, guys. If you're a ServiceNow customer, clients, or you're thinking about being a ServiceNow client, you need to talk to us. There's a lot of bad advisement going on out there. There's a lot of bad implementations. There's a lot of not necessarily bad implementations, just implementations that never achieved what they expected to achieve. And it's our goal as a partner to be able to make that a better scenario for the clients that choose to invest in ServiceNow. None of you, if you're listening and you have a bad ServiceNow environment, it's not because you got the bad code, it's because you got the bad implementation.
Yep. Call us.
That includes doing things like free assessments. Do a free micro assessment on ServiceNow in general or the CMDB, and that alone will prove our worth as a partner for you guys. Guys, thanks for coming. You sent over a blog today you want to review. I've got that pulled up here. Let me get it on my screen.
Hold
Uh,
on, Andy. Before you dive into the blog, you always say, "Hey, what's going on? Anything new?" So let's don't forget that. I have some good stuff.
well, apparently you have something you want to talk about. Go ahead.
No, I just got back from Atlanta this week for a ServiceNow summit. So went down to Atlanta. I didn't realize they had it there like last year, which is a different location. So I went to the ServiceNow summit. It's always cool to go to those and meet some of the clients, people in the ecosystem. It's fun. The more and more I go to it, feels like I'm starting to create that kind of family away from home. So a bunch of people I know, partners that we work with, and the clients. And I'm gonna tell you, Andy, without fail, it always happens. You can go to why can't I think of it? Knowledge, right? Or any forum or any summit, and you go to these sessions and you walk out of those, and really honestly, I swear to you, the concepts and everything's really good, but people are still not ready for and to build on what they have. There's still some baseline challenges they're dealing with. So I
Yeah.
love that we get a chance to do this podcast and talk about things that are coming. But I
Yeah.
always want to make sure with that commercial you said, if you feel like you're not there, if you feel like you're scared to ask questions or feel like it's not done right, please reach out to us because everybody feels like they're in the same spot. I had
Yeah.
an opportunity to talk to some, and I told them, ask the question, right? You're going to be in the same spot as everybody else, your neighbor.
Yeah. And is that a sign of projects that went awry, or is that a sign of how fast all this is moving and you can be as good as you could possibly be and not be right?
I'll give you my take on there, and Christian can share hers. I think in my position before, I think when you try to procure a platform like this, you expect a lot of things from it. And some people bought it for one particular thing, which is what I did. I bought it for the ITSM and the strong capabilities there. What I got to learn is how much more it could do. And when you can leverage that, you really start unleashing more of what it can do. I think a lot of people bought it for one thing, didn't even use it fully for its capabilities and sat on it for a while. So I think a lot of people have a very basic implementation with a very minimalistic CMDB, and now they're struggling and will struggle to keep up with the pace of what's getting ready to happen. And let's talk about with AI because all these are building blocks, and you really have to build a strong foundation to move forward with it. So I think it's kind of a combination of some people bought more than they could implement, or they bought very basic and never grew from it.
Kristen, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with Fred. One other situation that we see quite a bit, customers are coming off of other tools onto ServiceNow, and essentially they try to either replicate the old tool on ServiceNow, or they're really not looking at their overarching strategic goals and initiatives as part of the project. So they end up with an implementation that's not really what they need and not really fully utilizing what ServiceNow's capabilities are. Which is actually why every single one of our micro assessments begins with the question, what are your overarching strategic goals? Because we really want to understand a holistic view of where the customer's at and what their focus areas are so that we can make proper recommendations. Yeah.
That's just consulting 101, but I bet it doesn't happen. And I bet a lot of times it's just because maybe the consulting firms are throwing junior level resources that, they're trying to implement what they learned within the last month or two. And that's the way the project goes.
Mhm.
Blog today from Jurgen, I think, Lindner, and that's from July 31st of this year. ServiceNow ranks number 1 in 6 tech workflow segments. We're going to break that down. This is all from Gartner's view of this and their market share. The 6 segments are IT operations, IT service management platforms. Probably those two make up the bulk of the reason why people have historically implemented ServiceNow. But if you're using it just for those two, then you're not taking advantage of what the platform brings. Event intelligence solutions, IT asset management and software asset management, another big one. Project and portfolio management, kind of a no-brainer to go along with those IT things and outside of IT. And then security software. We're going to break that down a little bit. Fred, why did you pick this article, this blog?
Well, really, if you go back to those 6, I think one thing that's interesting is that the platform is starting to be recognized for a lot more than just that one thing. So it's not just being used by IT. It's not just being used for IT service management anymore. I think a lot more people are utilizing a lot more ITOM, or which is the observability pieces of that, discovery pieces of that, which is your operations piece. So they're now starting to tie in more what the basis of ITSM was with now the observability and discovery, which is those building blocks we talked about, which keeps compounding. There's no, it's understandable why they're number 1 in event intelligence and like those things, because those two together is how you get to that. So it's really building blocks. So it's good to see that they're being recognized in those areas, and that the platform is not just known as ITSM anymore. It's because you got portfolio management in there, you got security. So now you're starting to see a widening view, and now I think it's being recognized more as a real platform. So a while ServiceNow kept saying platform of platforms. I don't think people understood what that meant. As in now, for the last few years, I've been speaking AI, 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 but now people are starting to really wake up and say AI is really coming. So I think it's just the progression of that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So under those 6 bullets, there's the following paragraph. It's really one statement. We believe the recognition underscores our leadership in providing innovative and strategic solutions that empower business to thrive rapidly, blah, blah, blah. 100% true. 100% true. Now we go to a big pivot to the future of all this stuff, continuing to be adding value. And now we're going to talk about AI for the rest of the block.
Agree, but before we do that, I'm sorry. I know you want to ask Kristen. She'll speak up because she's got all the intelligence there. But that's a good point you just made and recognize, Andy, because that foundational piece in the beginning, all the different applications they built, the rest of these conversations and most conversations that we're starting to want to have or people wanting to have is built around AI. How do you build on that? So I just want to re-emphasize, though, there's a lot of things in those base applications that are automations that aren't technically AI that have been there and are still underutilized today. So even if you just have a standard ITSM deployment or anything like that, I mean, there's a good way to look through what is there, what you're not utilizing, and then start to feather the AI on top of that. Because you're right, the rest of this conversation is going to go to how AI plays a part into each one of those applications. All right, now you can ask Kristen the answer question.
Kristen, why is it applicable to take this leadership in these 6 categories and then infuse it, turbocharge it, I think it's a word that we use later in this blog, with AI in order to make it continue to be the leader and relevant?
Sure. So I think every industry, every company is going to have to implement AI in order to stay relevant. And the beautiful thing about ServiceNow, because they have these point solutions, they have the ITSM and the ITOM and the project management tools and a host of other tools, as we know. These tools each have their own product teams that are focused solely on that use case. And so they can really take a holistic approach with AI. What I see them doing is actually something similar to what they've done with their merger and acquisition strategy. Whenever they purchase a new company with a new tool set, they don't try to bolt the two together. What they do is they re-platform the tool. And I see them kind of doing the same thing with AI, where they're really taking a holistic view at their specific use cases, at the product that that team is managing, and how do we really incorporate AI into this use case and fully integrate it with the process flow. And it's going to take some time to fully build that out, as with any new technology. However, it's going to have to be there for them to keep that number 1 spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the next paragraph is titled AI-powered IT operations. I think that's where we're going to double click into AI and some of these workflows. Fred, why don't you take us here? What are they trying to cover with the AI-powered IT operations piece, ITOM?
I think what they're really trying to articulate is using AI in operation is really where you can start to rapidly like decrease the noise, specifically get to pinpoint where the problems are. It's a lot of things that can happen behind the scenes without human touch. So it gets you to that faster resolution. And that's really the whole concept here when you're trying to have a faster operation is have not to have to go through so much of the data to get to a place that points you to a direction to get the problem resolved. And I think their use of AI agents in this area will just gather all that data for you and present it in a way that you can pick and choose what the next steps are. In some cases, you can already have it to do that for you. But in most cases, at this point, a lot of people feel more comfortable letting it be presented to them and say, hey, this is your next step. Would you like to try that and try to resolve it? Try it. That didn't fix it. Give you something else. So I think that is how they're using AI to really to rapidly increase productivity around operations and not have to keep driving more and more humans into it.
I think it's probably clear to everybody that operations is a place where AI should have a big impact quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris, anything else to add there?
Yeah, absolutely. I do just want to add that this is not a replacement for what's currently there. There are already tool sets or features within the tool set, such as thresholding, correlation of alarms, that sort of thing. And there are still thresholds and keyword matches and things that are occurring on the monitoring tools. Those things still need to be there. That's your kind of first layer of filtering. But then what ServiceNow really is doing is taking the power of AI and kind of layering that on top to add more context, to add more pattern recognition, and really turbocharge what is already there and just bring some of that new features and functionality that Gen AI provides to really enhance what's already there. Yeah.
So, Chris, the next section, proactive IT service workflows. So now we're talking about IT service management.
Yep.
And where AI is going to have an impact within the ServiceNow world. And let me read the quote here. By bringing together AI, data, and workflows on the ServiceNow AI platform, using the word platform here, we're talking about a workflow now, but we're talking about platform holistically. We'll come to that at the end probably. Organizations can create exceptional, seamless experiences. Kristen, where does AI play out in the IT service workflow world?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are some AI capabilities that have actually been in the tool set for quite some time. Things like assignment, prioritization, categorization of tickets. Now we're really starting to see some of those agentic AI capabilities come into play. One thing I would caution, a lot of times, some of the use cases we're hearing from customers they think might require AI, they're not necessarily AI workflows. Things like password resets can be done with automation versus AI. So if you have a partner, we can really help you determine, okay, this requires AI's capabilities versus this really could be handled with just a simple automation. And we can really help you drive towards those proper solutions. And when you're dealing with AI agents, I always caution customers, you need to think of them like humans in your workflows. So don't expect 100% quality. AI agents do still have hallucinations. There are still some quality checks that are required. So again, a good partner can really help facilitate those discussions and guide you through that process. Yeah.
Brad, your thoughts?
Well, I really like this because as Kristen would know, like this is something we really needed years back with what Kristen and I was doing. Yes, you have to be very careful, but having agents that could go out and do some of this work for you versus having the humans can be a whole lot faster. And we had a struggle for years trying to move to proactive versus reactive. And you're always reactive because you don't have enough time and energy to go find the things that you need to find. With the use of agents, you actually truly can start becoming proactive, which is the big shift that a lot of people need to get to. And that's where I think a lot of people are really still immature in the way they manage and monitor their own environments because they still act reactive. Smaller companies are going to be reactive. This has to be a shift people pick up on because if you're proactive, you're going to find the issues before they present you with a problem. And it can be basic stuff that is what's in ServiceNow. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm going a little tangent here, but it's like if you're using a lot of the applications and you have your software in there and you have your assets in there and you have all the data in there, you have information in there that the agents can go and look for these things and find out you just did an upgrade to this. Well, the combination of that upgrade to this upgrade to those versions is that's going to present you a problem in 4 months. So it's things like that, Andy, that now allows you to be proactive, which is preventative in nature, and you can fix things before they break. And it's hard to quantify that sometimes, but when you can do it at a big scale, which is some of the things it's talking about, doing things at scale, that's when you really start seeing a big difference. It's got to start somewhere.
And Fred, I know there's a lot of talk about predictive and fixing it before it breaks. And yes, absolutely. And then there also just the concept of fixing it much, much, much quicker than you would have after it breaks. And there's, obviously tons of value
Yeah.
in both aspects.
But obviously, where we were, what Chris and I did before we came here, we saw this at massive scale, right? So what we did through synthetic monitoring, or having to take a lot of time to do one particular scripting to fix one problem, now that stuff can be done so much faster and across so many different things without that same effort. So I really think it's here. It's just going to take people to make the bold move to put it in practice and see how it works.
Fred, come back to you on this unlock productivity at scale. I think there's no doubt that whether it's doing it for you or coaching you through it, productivity is something that AI is already showing a ton of benefits for.
I think I was just speaking that. I probably should have waited a second. I mean, this is really it. It's really now using all those op agents, using agents in itself to all the mundane tasks that you would look at, what you're trying to go look for, and maybe it's across 3 million different assets. I mean, let it go do that work and bring it back. Maybe it's scanning across the tables of the data that you've coming in from multiple monitoring tools or multiple assets and combining all that. This is that productivity at scale, because it may be one thing you're looking for.
Yeah.
I'll go back to the ransomware type virus and the issues we had in the past. If you could quickly identify what could be affected, right, then your fear goes way down, and you can just go address those things or cut those things off, right? That's what brought the fears, because you didn't know what was going to be attacked and what in your environment could have been. This is the kind of stuff I'm saying could be done at scale, having the right technology, and hit you a report just like that to tell you what could be affected.
And not only do it, but do it on nights and weekends and things the human being needs to take a break for. We have a situation where we're going to repurpose desktop virtualization workloads to do AI workloads on nights and weekends when it can work when other people can't. And not only at scale, yes, at scale all the time, yes.
Yep. 100%.
Chris, anything else to add on this scale and productivity comment?
Sure. Yeah. In addition to just straight automation, you look at what it's doing in the coding space for AI. You're taking a junior developer and turning them into a 10x developer overnight. It can do the same thing for your help desk agents, right? Because you've got these AI tools that are hooking into your monitoring tools, hooking into your system logs, and people are able to just chat with your logs and get data out and see all of the information in one place. Also, AI is great at pattern recognition, so it can go out and find things that may need to be surfaced and really show relevant information to your agents when they need it, and even make recommendations on how to resolve those things. And then your help desk agents are just approving those things, right? So even from a manual perspective, you're taking one help desk agent and giving them the power of multiples. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, okay, yes, let's talk about that real quick. And like level one help desk people, working, so like, you call in for your travel and you can tell the guy or gal on the chat historically has been one person who's probably having 7 chats going on at the same time.
Yeah.
AI is going to be able to do that more efficiently and focus on your chat while focusing on another chat, while focusing on another chat. And you're not going to know the difference. And the service level should go up and the efficiency should go way up and the cost should go way down.
Absolutely. And you could be turning those level 1 agents into the equivalent of a level 3 agent.
Yeah, but yeah, that's right. So that one person who's working those 8 chats at the same time, now they're watching all 8 of those chats happen through AI, and something flags them when it needs help, and they're able to go help itself. And now you got the human element, and that one person who probably couldn't have handled 8 simultaneously effective now can, and they can do it at a much higher level.
Absolutely. Yep.
Kristen, I think I'm back to you. I can say I'm an AI assisted publisher audit readiness. What does this mean?
Oh, yes. So for the software asset management tools within ServiceNow, you've got capabilities that can check license utilization and normalize your product models. So this is an area where ServiceNow really is kind of pulling AI tools in to assist with that. We've got Now Assist for software asset management. So again, those tools where you can use natural language to go find information and run reports and do things like that. And I would expect at some point soon they're going to be utilizing AI also for some of the normalization activities that are taking place to really true up that information, which can actually be quite onerous for the people who are in charge of managing that. So, yeah.
Fred, your comments?
Oh, I agree. I mean, I think this kind of pinpoints around SAM, software asset management. I think the same principles can be applied to governance and risk and compliance and things like that, using that to help pull that out. So any way you have audit or being audit ready, if the more information you have in one place and the more accessible that is, especially the use of dashboards and reports, you make it really easy. I mean, Kristen knows we went through a lot of different ISO certifications and things like that, and we were able to get to our platform having things we could basically turn the keys over to an auditor and say, "Hey, go look at it yourself. Here's where you go. Call us if you have an issue." I mean, those are really good. And I tell you, over the last 2 years, Andy, I've become a really big fan of SAM, software asset management, because we've deployed it a few times. And I've seen and heard some of the feedback from that. So just if people are listening and haven't looked into it, they really should. I think there's some good value to it.
Yep, Fred, I don't think we've had an implementation yet where the savings didn't actually more than cover the licensing.
I know. I just presented it to a customer the other day, and I mean, and the price point is very reasonable when you look at the savings it could do. And I just think that, regardless of what it is, it's based on the size of your organization. But whatever it cost you, I promise you, I bet within 6 months you would save 5 times that, just based on the unused licenses, the things you may not need, the way that we're going to have another. We'll just do a podcast on SAM later. How about that, Andy? We just went off tangent.
All right. Turbocharge AI delivery. Fred, coming back over to you. This section here.
Interesting one. Chris and I spoke on this briefly, but all this is really saying is, you can utilize SPM, the strategic portfolio management, that's within the ServiceNow platform to run your projects and projects around implementing and deploying AI. So basically, it's using the technology. It's kind of the now or now concept, but using this to do your projects, to analyze your projects, to to bring all the data in those projects and to push those out and just project manage through that. So I think it's saying here to take a lot of these AI initiatives that a company may have, because this is all really deployed very agile, and using SPM, you can kind of keep that agile methodology and just keep moving through your projects and deploy it much faster in that way. Plus, it's all in the same system. So easy to kick off a project and say, "Hey, I want to implement that story, and this is the timeline," things like that. But Chris has implemented SPM multiple times, so you're probably better equipped to answer this one.
Yep, just one thing I'll add, and getting just a little bit technical here. During the Knowledge Conference this year, ServiceNow revealed version 5 of their Common Services Data Model, also known as CSDM, and they really are, just as a general approach, taking a much more holistic view into the delivery of services on the ServiceNow platform. So including SPM in this article is really part of that, because you're tracking the life cycle of your AI services from ideation all the way through development, delivery, service, the whole life cycle. So, yeah.
Good.
Fred, you kind of alluded to this one a while ago, AI-powered vulnerability exposure assessments. I'm going to come back to you for this one, and we'll have Kristen follow up. Since you brought it up earlier, you talked about the ability for AI within the ServiceNow workflow, within the overarching platform that brings operations and service and asset management and software asset management together. The ability to go find the stuff the bad guys are looking for proactively seems like a no-brainer.
This was a little bit new to me. I'll be honest with you. I mean, there's so much stuff coming out. I really didn't know I didn't look into some of the AI agent capability around security. So I think this is really neat, because I know that vulnerability scans and all the different things you're looking for out there. I think this is extremely helpful using AI power to pull that, just like it is. We're looking at alerts and alarms and raw data and scanning logs on the security side. I mean, it's just invaluable to have to go out there and pull all this data, because it's too much to comprehend and remember. And you can take that, bash it against knowledge articles, bash it against requirements and governance and compliancy and what is unsafe, and expose all that stuff. So it looks like here out of the box, ServiceNow has 3 agents that are already there for cybersecurity and vulnerability exposure and watch topic creation. So that was new to me, and kind of neat that it's all there already.
Yeah. Fred, can you take this one section of this article, and I'll probably send it to Aaron and you, and go talk to our security team and try to get them to understand how valuable ServiceNow is to the security side of our business.
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
no-brainer. No-brainer.
Yeah,
Talking
it
to
is.
our clients and existing ServiceNow clients about this piece from the perspective of our security practice. Kristen, anything to add and comment on this section?
Just to point out, Fred mentioned the proactive nature of using AI, where you can go perform large amounts of work where you would have had to have human hands or human minds or eyes on something beforehand. This is one of those areas where it can make such a huge difference, because going out, finding those pattern matches, being more proactive, and scanning your environments and finding those vulnerabilities has such a huge impact when it comes to security and compliance. It's really a great use case for AI. Yeah.
Andy, I want to say one more thing. Sorry, because we've touched on a lot of applications in here and talked about the AI components of that. And yet again, when I was at Summit, 16 different people asked me, what do you guys focus on? Hey, anybody listen to this podcast? The truth is, you hear me and Kristen talking. We know all aspects of it. We're not experts on everything in this platform, but we've got enough experience, enough time and implementations and consulting around all these applications that no, we're not experts on everything, but we definitely are certified in everything we've talked about. So if you need help, reach out to us. Sorry, I just had to say it, Andy, because I get everybody wants to pinpoint us and put us in a box and say, you just focus on this. We need to be there for all of our clients. If we don't know it, we'll find somebody who does.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, we'll take what we know, apply it where we can apply it, and then go get you the right resources and manage and make sure they do a good job for you and outside of the workflows that we, work on or claim to be experts in on a daily basis. Help me out here, guys. So this is 6 workflows out of about how many?
Great question. I mean, there's 140 some products, right? Maybe up to 160 some now, and 38 big solutions. So, I mean, there's probably hundreds of workflows within each of the applications at some points. So a
But
ton.
what I'm getting at here, all those add up to a very powerful platform that is either number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 in their space, and you aggregate all that to a very powerful platform. And this AI concept is going to be extremely powerful, valuable across that platform. That's where our customers need help. They're going to have help in order to get the most value out of that. They're not getting the value out of it now. In order to get the most value out of it soon, they're going to need even more help. Good help.
Agree.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you joining on a Thursday afternoon. I look forward to talking to you guys again in a couple weeks.
Perfect. Awesome.
Great.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Mhm.